Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Jacob Vandersteen, and today we are going to talk about artificial intelligence from first principles. Now, what jurisdiction do I have to speak on this subject? Before starting Manuka AI in 2020, I was in business development and sales for 8 years, where I was one of those people that was just out shaking hands, getting names and numbers. And I realized that over the course of 8 years, that role never really changed. It had different forms, which by my 8th year, I was primarily doing internet outreach to executives within a 20-mile radius of where I am today to generate business for a staffing company. And so by doing that, I was copy pasting the messages over and over again, editing them slightly, going to try to find their phone numbers or emails. And that was really what I did. And then going out and meeting them in person to sign a contract. I realized at that moment that AI was going to take that over because it was very simple and it would free us humans to do things that are more high value, like building relationships and forming strategic visions so we can craft things that are exciting in the world. So thankfully, by getting into AI at that time, I was able to see the early stages, but also to meet some of the world-class innovators that are now my co-founders for my companies. Through the lens of a founder CEO, I come to you with this information both on how the technology comes about and is designed, built, implemented, and executed, but then most importantly, how it creates real world value, which is what I think about 24/7 as a founder CEO. How do we take products or experiences and get them to people that make a difference in their life? That's what I'm thinking about 24/7. So that's my foundation that I believe is pretty strong that I'm coming to you with. Now let's talk about first principles though, before we get into the content and the topic, which is AI from first principles. First principles is a logical thinking framework that dissects what we believe from what actually is. So you look at the universe, let's start there, which again, it's a physics framework. If we look at the universe is fundamentally first principles basis made up of energy and matter, and you could say dark matter, which is something we're now getting into, but that's really it. The more we look deeper and deeper into the small things, quantum mechanics of the universe, the more we learned that the universe was just these simple things and is mostly empty space. In fact, 99.9% empty space, only a tiny fraction is matter. So that, of course, blew our minds. Now that's first principles. That's the power of first principles. You could say the universe includes people and skyscrapers and cars and artificial intelligence and technology, but those are really just things that occur from the first principles of the universe. Now, if we look at artificial intelligence, we are going to talk about the first principles that compose that so that you can build an understanding that is either deeper, based on if you have some current understanding in the field, or just more expanded or totally brand new that you can then use to reason from about how you can generate and capitalize on artificial intelligence and other sectors of emerging technology for your life, which is really what it all comes down to, right? You want it to make you wealthier, make you healthier, do good things for your family, free up your time so that you can spend more time doing what you absolutely love to do. And this is a great first step. So let's get into what those first principles are. The first is data. Now you have to have data to have AI. Otherwise, you can't give enough information to make decisions or make AI intelligent. It's if you did not have the sense of sight and you were asked to describe what a banana looks like. You could do it by feel, but if you had never touched a banana, and that whole mess of things, you just wouldn't have enough information to tell anybody what a banana looks like. So that's why when we go and train language models or image generating models or even interpretation models, you have to pass massive amounts of data. Now, back when I got started in AI, and there is definitely still use of this, there are the paradigm or the thought that we were trying to bring out to reach this hyper intelligent AI was by having very small, finely selected bits of data and information that then we tailored around to build a model of the world. But the prevailing form of artificial intelligence that has produced the massive explosion, which let's say ChatGPT and generative AI is more around assimilating massive amounts of data and just focusing on predicting the next word in a sequence. And when you do that enough, when you scan the entire internet, when you watch every YouTube video as an AI, and you really gain a deeper understanding of the world more than you could if you just did not have that information. And so what comes next? What's the first principle of AI? And that is algorithms. So algorithms are what gets trained based on all of that information and data. So it is basically a formula, you can imagine, that learns and continuously improves based on the information that it is given. So then what you can connect together is that's what a model is. It is a model of the world. And ChatGPT as a language model has ingested massive amounts of text and is able to form vectorization paradigms where, let's say I say the word cat, it has vectors or connecting lines between everything that's associated with a cat, and then whatever else I say in that sentence, it is also grafting those together to try to find and create then what the next word in a sentence is. That's really what ChatGPT is all about, and that comes down to the algorithm that's driving it. So you have to have an algorithm because you're telling it what the outcome that you're after is. That's what is defined within an algorithm. It is a way of solving a problem repeatedly and learning from that the data that it's given to improve. Now, I gave a little bit of hint there on what the first principle is, but we're going to talk about it from a different perspective, and that's the outcome. So, for example, your algorithm is given an outcome. So in this case, with ChatGPT, generative AI, its whole focus is to, based on all that information, be able to predict the next word in a sentence. And when you pull that together and you ask, when did Christopher Columbus come to the United States of America, and what were the opinions of the Native Americans and the conquistadors or whatever, you've probably used ChatGPT at this point, but it would then start to create a story based on all those different sets of logical assertions or the question that you're putting forth. And so the outcome in this case is really what we're talking about. Outcome, AI has to have an outcome for it to be valuable. So what I mean is, if you look at the internet, if you look at blockchain technology, if you look at anything that has come about and changed our lives on a massive scale, a massive revolution as we see them, it has to make money, it has to do something, it has to have value for society. And that's really how I look at outcomes in this case from first principles, is that it has to have some sort of output that it is optimizing for, or else it really would just spit out nonsense. So those outcomes can look like new products, new features, or ways to optimize things that we're doing every day in life. That is also a key element. How is that technology then used to produce a result that's valuable? And then finally is computational power. That is number 4. All of these people, let's say these massive companies, that are seeking to build the $100 billion supercomputer in Wisconsin, that's OpenAI and Microsoft, and they're needing to build 5 nuclear reactor power plants near that to power it. What are they trying to do? They are trying to generate enough computational power to be able to make these deep analysis of the world, to really tap the full potential of all the data that we have and that we generate to create hyper intelligence. And right now, that is the path that is working the best. So what do we do as humanity? We're going to keep going. We are going to get more computational power, more energy consumption, so that we can make more intelligent systems, with the hope and the plan that if it all continues to scale as we've seen it so far, we will have hyper intelligence, which will be able to solve our problems for us and perhaps correct us and put us on a different path in the world. That's really what it's all about. So you have to have the GPUs, the graphical processing units, the CPUs, or whatever materials you are using to not only power your computational engine, but actuate that computational engine to generate these outputs and to have this technology make its most effective and massive output of economic and real world value. Because that's what makes things last. That's what makes things tangible. So as you see the world today, to summarize, what's very exciting and a thought that you can include in your mental repertoire is something that you can have hope for in the world is the fact that this way of doing things, us being able to generate what appears to be and could potentially be a realistic hyper intelligence, that will buoy quality of life for everybody. And that's what it's all about. When it comes down to technology and innovation, it makes a difference when it makes a difference in lives like yours. And over the scale of 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 years, even after we're gone, we hope that we can modernize and improve the way the world works and limit our risks and remove the challenges and the things that may have accumulated over time, and hopefully keep humanity alive and spreading to the stars and all those good things. So if you enjoyed this video, just know that this is going to be the primary focus of my channel because, like I said, I have two companies in this space that are like two sides of the same coin. One is on the platform side, the other is on the execution and consulting side, and it just really worked out that way that these two are very aligned. And so I'm going to be producing a lot of content like this. Again, I've been in this space for 4 years, and I do come at things from this: what is the real world value? How do I translate that to people like yourself, whether you're a CEO and a leader or someone just looking to learn or someone who wants to get into the space? I'm going to be producing a lot of this content. So make sure to subscribe. It lights up my day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.